For us Tiger fans, we've had a lot of good news coming out of Clemson over the past few months. One of them obviously being the hiring of former Penn State defensive coordinator Tom Allen. It was a nice pickup for Clemson, getting more experience in the coaching room. But now we have to ask ourselves something. Could a bombshell go off this year that would ruin the 2025 season? You're like, bombshell, are you talking about a scandal? Are you creating something here? No. No. It's a bomb that's been there. And it's called Cade, Dabo, and Garrett may not be on the same page, or at least up until the end of the season. They were not on the same page and haven't been on the same page for a while. That would explain some things. I'm going to dive into this and more in just a second. Welcome to the channel. Glad you are here. It's good to see all of you in here. And, man, it's getting cold here in the upstate. I think I've talked about the weather here for the past week on every video that I've done, but it's about to get cold if you're in this area. So, do the whole letting the faucets drip and all that bunch of stuff. So anyway, if you like what I'm doing, if you like talking college football, you like talking Clemson football, I hope that you will subscribe. Remember, it is free. I appreciate it. Bombshell could undermine Clemson in 2025. That's what I put up here. And I put the names, Cade Klubnik, Dabo Swinney, and Garrett Riley. Now, someone reached out to me back in December to talk about what we've seen out of Cade, Dabo, and Garrett. Now, I'm not going to act like I have tons of people reaching out to me all the time to give me some type of inside information. I got excited and started fumbling all over myself there. But my point is, I do have people reach out to me, and sometimes I vet them. And between you and I'm just like, I think this is more of something that you would see on a forum. It's not concrete. But I had someone reach out to me. They asked me if I would, keep their name anonymous. But they talked to me about they know without a shadow of a doubt that Cade, Dabo, and Garrett have not been on the same page. Now, for some of you, you're like, duh. Really? Is it duh? Is it really that duh? The reason I ask this question is because, well, if you look at comment boards and forums and all that bunch of stuff, you're going to see this common question. Who's really running the offense? Why did we become so conservative? Is Dabo calling plays? Dabo's not calling plays. Garrett's calling plays. Well, why is Garrett calling those types of plays? Well, why is it that Garrett can call really good plays at one moment and the next moment it's like he's never seen a call sheet before? It's just like, line up for I formation, which we don't do. I know, I'm just making that up, but it's left all of us Clemson fans speculating. You hear people who are at the practices going, look, Garrett is calling the plays, but it gets weird. This person reached out to me, and we started talking, and I vetted them. And I believe wholeheartedly that they're telling the truth. And if they are lying, they're really good at it. But in the conversations with me, this person says, I think Cade is struggling a bit with Riley, but Cade is always very respectful, and he won't say anything that is negative. He didn't do it with Streeter. The read is that Dabo and Cade and Riley were not on the same page. That there were details that Riley was missing. And that there's a bit of frustration in the transition. Trust transition issue. And this email, and if you're out there watching this, I'm being very careful not to give away your name because I know you watch my channel. If Dabo, Cade, and Riley can get on the same page, the Clemson offense is close to opening up. Now, you step back and you hear that and you go, Brian, that is not a bombshell. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna tell you why. Why? Follow me. We saw some brilliant play calls from Garrett Riley as the season progressed. You would see them, then you wouldn't. It was like Casper. Here he is, the friendly ghost, and then the next minute it's like, who's calling these plays? It's awful. Now, I know some of you right now, you're going, Brian, bro, we just hired Tom Allen. We just got some guys out of the transfer portal. We have guys coming back. You're not celebrating this. No, it's not that. It's just, this is the bombshell that could undermine the 2025 season. You know, with all those players coming back on both sides of the ball, the 4 offensive linemen out of the 5 returning this year, second year with Matt Luke. This will be year 3 that Cade's the starter. This will be year 3 that Garrett Riley is calling the plays. This will be the return of those 2 incredible freshman wide receivers. You have Antonio Williams back. And even though they're freshmen, we have some pretty good offensive players coming in that are going to be true freshmen. Tom Allen has been hired. The schedule is favorable. Remember, the ACC is trash. It's garbage, pure garbage. Clemson should have no problem with it at all, especially with these players and, you know, all the experience and crap. Let's not try to talk ourselves into excuses. We're not from Columbia, South Carolina, okay? And most of the big games are going to be in Clemson this year. But what has undermined Clemson over the past few seasons? It has been when Clemson has went into its shell, as I like to call it, become too conservative in ball games. If I am on that side of the screen, I would clearly say to me, well, Brian, we've grown past that point. Have we? I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm about 65-35 that we have. 65-35, I mean, yeah, you get the majority, and it's over 51, over 50%, but it's not like 51-49. But you're not overwhelmingly confident that the offense is going to open it up. Now, let's pause there. I am not overly impressed when Clemson opens up the playbook against the worst Appalachian State team that they fielded in years. I mean, it's nice to see those PlayStation numbers, but where that really comes into play is when you can scheme and make the adjustments against really good football teams and win them. And what we saw as the season progressed was you started to see really well planned out, thought out play calls that made sense, and it had set up the defense. I'm talking about the opposing defense that Clemson was playing, set them up to where they didn't know it was coming. And that looked like the brilliance of Garrett Riley. It looked like he became very comfortable with Cade. Now, has Cade improved? Absolutely. Cade's been running for his life since he was tossed the keys to the car in the ACC championship against North Carolina a few years back. But Clemson is getting all these pieces lined up. Picking up Will Helt, that's a good pickup. Out of the transfer portal. Picking up Tom Allen, a guy who can coach, folks. I mean, I was so impressed with his introduction to the media. I mean, I was listening to him while I was working on something, and I'm telling you, about halfway through him talking, I was ready to go, like, hit somebody. I mean, I was fired up. That's who you want on your sidelines. And you pair that personality and that mindset and that experience with the players we have coming back. That's a good thing. But you can't have a bombshell of the offense being Are we calling good plays, calling bad plays? Are we going to go into our shell when we play good football teams? We can't have that happen this season. Now, let's pause there, and I'm going to be a little more optimistic here. That Cade is playing so well now. You know he can run. The nation, by the way, knows he can run now. Anyone who knew anything about the kid coming out of Westlake, they knew he could run. The guy's fast. And if you ever question if Cade can throw the football, he made some passes this year that you were sitting there going, holy crap, he can. We saw Garrett Riley call some of those brilliant plays I was referencing. Some of the best play calls as the season progressed that I'd seen since Garrett Riley's been there. Could that be because Cade's getting better? Could that be because the offensive line is giving him time? Is that because he has these two incredible true freshmen that's come in and did very well, and Antonio Williams is the leading receiver and firing on all cylinders? Yes to all of the above. But this season, whatever has been going on, I don't care what the reason is. This upcoming season, 2025, and we'll be there before you know it. Right now, it's January the 19th. It's a Sunday evening, about, 8:40. You mark my words. The only thing that I truly see, other than the injury bug, that could go off like a bombshell and ruin this season is if we have any semblance of going back in our shell. And the next question is, why? Why? We have to, these three have to be on the same page of whatever that same page is. And here's another thing to throw out there. They can be on the same page, but in a new chapter for this coming season. Because I'm telling you, folks, I am not predicting Clemson to win a national championship in 2025. I'm not going to do that to you or to myself. But I am telling you, with everything that I mentioned out earlier about all the returning starters, schedule, blah, 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 this season should be very, very special. Can't win them all. Well, when you have the talent that we have, you have the schedule that we have, you darn well should. You darn well should. Or you've adopted a loser mentality. And it seeped into Clemson, and it's just absolutely crazy. Let me get in here, say hello to a few people. Cooper, it's good to see you, my friend. Howdy, good to see you. Very cold and windy night, Roger Parks. Yes, sir, it is. It's very, very cold. It started off about 57 degrees today. And then I checked just a few minutes ago. It's already low 30s, fired up the old fireplace. Thanks for supporting the channel. I see the symbol beside your name. I appreciate it, Roger Parks. You've been good to the channel. Thought you might be talking about the lawsuit. No lawsuit right now, but who knows? As we get farther and farther away from the season, we will. That's probably coming. Wes Anthony, I feel that way too. I feel like if the conservatism continues, it could keep us from having an elite season. Wes, I mean, that's the thing. And then I had someone I was talking to today, and they were just giving their opinion. They were like, well, everybody's saying that when they go ultra conservative, that's actually Swinney. I don't know if that's true, folks. Let's see. It should be Bobby running the offense. Hey, let me tell you, you never know. You never know. I thought before that Dabo was calling the offensive plays because he is always covering his mouth with the call sheet. Huh? If you question Dabo, why do you Clemson fans worship him above Christ Almighty? You're crazy, man. I'm glad you're in here. Quality Sports says, hey, they lost. They lost. Shots fired at SC college football addiction. Hey, I have TJ. He's going to be coming on this week. We're going to start talking about next season, and I want to talk to him about the college football season for Florida State. He's he has college football addiction. He's been kind enough to have me on his channel, talk about Clemson, chew the fat, and so on. I don't know why I said it that way, but I'm going to have him on Thursday, and we're going to talk We're going to talk about Florida State football. You may do it under, obviously, we'll talk about college football addiction, but we'll also talk about Double Fries No Slaw, his Florida State channel. It does very well. It's good to see my buddy. Bothers me when non-coaches actually feel their opinion matters, even when you've never coached, even a Pee Wee team. Dale Sudeth, I appreciate that. I actually have coached a Pee Wee team. Appreciate it, Dale. I'm glad. I don't know if you're talking to me, if you're talking to someone else, but hey, I mean, I do have a resume. It's great. Why is Garrett even still there? A lot of people are have thoughts about that. Carson, your thoughts about Adam Randall possibly being the starting running back? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows how that's going to go? But it will be interesting. He's a big dude. I get good pay for being a couch coach. I bet you do. I bet you do. Let's get on in here. Matt Luke had the offensive line so much improved. David Wood, you know that I am the president of the Matt Luke fan club. And it just goes back to this. Hire better coaches. Get better results. Buy a better tool. You get a better result. Pay more money at a high-end restaurant. You're going to have a better experience. Pay a lot of money for a high-performance sports car. Probably going to go fast and look good doing it. I mean, it just is what it is. Have to find someone to fill the running back spot. We needed another dynamic player at the position to take pressure off. Cade, I agree with you. Brian, I don't see the super defensive players you think you have or offense either. We'll see what happens in 25. It's there. It is there, my friend. It is there. And I think with more and more elite coaches and better play callers and better developers around, I think you're going to get that out of them. I think Dabo will wait until after the spring game to see if they need a running back. Maybe so. Maybe so. Happy Sunday, Brian. Are you out here stirring up some stuff again? Frankly, I've heard that Cade does not listen and wants to be his own OC. He wants to call the plays at the line of scrimmage. That's interesting. I haven't heard that, but hey, maybe you're onto something. Big John, thanks for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. I do appreciate it. Will be a good defensive end when all's said and done. Okay, that's good. Going on down here. Let me see. Chad Morris needs to. He retired. We need to bring him out of retirement. We need a running back, not a running back by committee. Chad Godfrey. David Wood, Clemson isn't Applebee's. I agree with you. Well, folks, what are your thoughts on this? This is the question that everybody, as we get closer to the season, reality starts to hit us. We start looking back on this season. You always have to look, what was the problem that undermined us? Because if you can look at the problem that once undermined you and you step back and say, if it's no longer undermining us, what does that look like? What would be the result? What would be the result of aggressive, intelligent play calls that are executed by a group of experienced players? I think I just answered my question there. So if you fix the problem that has caused you grief, you have less grief. I know it's like, duh. Again, I'm just saying, this is what's undermined Clemson's offense for the past few seasons. And if these three, in whatever capacity, no matter whose fault it is or who's doing what or influencing what, blah, blah, if they fix this, especially with the talent that we have coming back, and you take that versus the talent we're going to have to play this year, go look at that schedule, the 2025 schedule. I think it could be a special season. Not guaranteeing a national championship. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying seeing some of the best ball Clemson has played since 2018. I could see that. Y'all take care of yourself. Hope you'll subscribe. Remember, it's free. And as always, go Tigers.